AJ, I know we're about to go live and celebrate, this big birthday event, and we're gonna get all fucking loud and shit. I know you're especially gonna get loud because that's what you do. But before we get started, really, man, like I want to make sure that everybody out there knows how thankful we are to all the developers and all the publishers, and of course Donatello, the scientist, GameCat, everybody who contributed to get some keys together, get some gift cards together, because I won't be able to thank each of these developers and people separately during the show while we give stuff away. So I wanted to kind of say that now. That
Are we gonna thank our Lord and Savior Shuhei Yoshida as well?
I mean,
Thank you, my Lord.
yes. is that an acceptable answer? Yes. All right, man. This is an amazing day. 5 years. Let's get this show started. You ready?
Woohoo! Let's go, Brian.
That's a yes. This is PSVR Gamescast Live, where we film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. My name's Brian Paul from this channel right here, PSVR Without Parole. And, of course, this guy that you recognize, yes, you do, you know him, you love him, it's AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, Brian? What is up, Gamecats? What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, but more importantly, happy 5-year anniversary, baby, woo, of PlayStation VR. And boy, am I excited, Brian, because we have nothing but awesome news, giveaways, and tons of stuff to go through. And I'm super excited. We've got updates, we've got new details of Moss Book 2, and so much to go through. So I am so happy to see all of you in the chat. Johnny Sopoltergeist, a.k.a. the Booflat Ghost Cat. Seymour Spooky Scary Game Strips. LC2552 Beats. All my fam in the house, including Killicell7774 ever with the $5 donation. Killicell, baby. Welcome, guys. 5 years, Brian.
5 whole years. Already kicking off the giveaways in the chat with the Swordsman North America key. Shout out to Sin Studio. Dude, gonna have lots of Swordsman giveaways too. So if you didn't get that one, maybe you'll get the next one. And
release the Kraken.
Listen, I know full well that there's gonna be people out there that go, I didn't get to watch live and I didn't get anything. Oh boy, do we have you covered too. Listen, I want you in the comments below, whether you're watching, if after the show's over, leave a comment, because thank you to Electric Cat Games for not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 copies. One's on the floor. 5 copies of To the Top physical from. Is this? I think this is limited run games, right? Yeah, limited run games. So super limited edition. There's only 1,800 ever made. So really hard to get, inexpensive. So we're gonna be mailing those out physically to you.
Hell yeah, that is badass. To the Top, man. What a great game.
Yeah, in the comments, I want to see To the Top physical edition with your PSN name, and that's how we'll get in touch with you, obviously. So we'll pick those winners out at random and ship them out sometime over the course of the next month or 7, because I don't leave the house very often. AJ, before we get to some of the festivities, I think we have a whole lot of news to take care of. But first, some housekeeping. Make sure you join our Discord. That link's in the description below. And, if you don't like watching us, because I get it, we're 2 giant heads talking about games, down below, you can always watch us on Spotify. Nope, listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That is definitely another option for you. But guess what? You're going to miss out on all the giveaways if you're not watching right now.
Oh, yeah. Good luck, cats. Now it is the time to start talking about news, Brian, because we got a lot to talk about. And the first thing we are going to talk about, Ultrawings 2, Brian. It is happening. It is coming to PlayStation VR after we blackmailed the developers of over at Bit Planet Studios, and we said, hey, we've got these pictures of you. You might want to release it on PSVR. And they said, okay, we don't want that. We don't want to hurt our reputation. And they did. Great times.
Is that how this all went down? I'm just getting caught up. I had no idea.
That's not how it went down. That's not how it went down at all. They posted yesterday and they said, in light of some recent news, we're reevaluating bringing Ultrawings 2 to PlayStation VR. Mm-hmm. Stay tuned. And then they followed it up and they basically said, So what did you first think when this happened, Brian? They basically said they're reevaluating bringing it to PSVR, and yeah.
I mean, what did I think happened? I don't know, man. Like,
Yeah.
I
You
think
were ready
that,
to go all conspiracy theory and like, ooh, what does this mean due to recent news? We all kind of thought, what is this recent news could have been, right?
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people jump to the conclusion, like it's a tendency people have is to kind of go negative first, right? And be like, oh my God, PlayStation VR 2 must be delayed. That must be the reason. And so they better get it out on PSVR 1 to kind of capture that audience. But yeah, I in my personal opinion, the first thought that I had was they just listened to the community and they were like, hey, we really want to bring them the game. And this PlayStation VR was, a huge audience for them for Ultrawings 1. So it felt like leaving everybody out in the dark or out in the cold and saying, we know that you love our game, but too bad. Too bad. So it was a nice change of pace, no matter what the actual reason was.
Yeah, they expressed some regret in the decision that it hurt them almost as much as it hurt us that they were going to be bringing it to other platforms. But they had this in mind. They wanted to bring it to next gen VR, which is, of course, PlayStation VR 2, as we're calling it for now, or PSVR on PS5. And unfortunately, it seems like those plans might have fallen through. So now they've gone back and said, well, now we're going to make the decision to release it on PSVR 1. But I know that sucks for them. But here's the thing, Brian. This is good news overall, especially for us. And I believe they'll still be able to release it on the next-gen console, next-gen headset. And I think that this is the starting point that they should have started at in order to make that happen.
Yeah. I mean, possibly, right? I mean, it just seems like, for a game that isn't even scheduled to come out on PC VR or Quest until February, I believe, February of 2022. That still leaves like this whole margin of like nothing for PSVR 1 owners. That left, we're all assuming that PSVR 2 is coming out holiday 2022. And so that's like, possibly 8 months of just letting your game sort of flounder. And, I'm sure whenever they release it, it would be very popular because people love Ultrawings, man. And Ultrawings 2 seems to be a bigger, more polished version of the first game. And so that's great that people will buy it whenever it comes out, assumingly. But man, it's like, if your plan was, hey, we're going to put it on PSVR 2, don't make us wait 8 months to play your game,
Yeah, I think this is going to be better for building up the core audience, and people will, if it gets a relaunch, which I think it will get a relaunch on PSVR 2, it's going to have people going, oh, Ultrawings 2, that was so good on PSVR 1. It's going to have that word of mouth kind of spreading, and that's really a big part of what's keeping VR going these days, because a lot of VR games are not getting this huge marketing push, and even when they are, it doesn't always mean it's success. What has been really successful are people going, "Oh my God, this game's so good," and then it spreads to another person. So, despite their little bit of setback here, I am very happy that we're going to get to play this. Hopefully in like early 2022 when it's supposed to release. Super excited, in fact.
Super excited. So, I mean, plenty of conspiracy theories, plenty of people guessing what all of BitPlanet Games tweets mean. They were very interesting tweets that they could have been very revealing. But, regardless of the reason, regardless of what happened, I think it turned out best for everybody.
Yeah.
So, and for all you EU cats out there, man, look at the chat. There you go.
Hell yeah. Good luck, guys. All right, so moving on, Brian.
Yes.
All right. So
it's spooky month. I'm so excited we get spooky news for spooky month.
We got some more positive news, some great action happening, and that is Hinge. Mm-hmm. The developers behind the horror game Hinge have received their dev kits finally.
At long last. So I don't know
Yes.
exactly how long ago they got their dev kits, man, but this was a team that I was rooting for. This was a game that sort of launched in a crappy state on PC VR, but then they just stuck with it and patched it and updated it and talked to the community and gave them everything that they wanted. And now people are playing and going, this is actually a really good horror game. It's a lot of fun. It's really well done. And so I was rooting for this team big time. This is Arcadia VR. And but they just couldn't get their hands on a PSVR 1 dev kit, and now they've gotten it, and so work has begun. And I mean, you know me, man. You know me. It's like I want to stretch October out for the next, 12 months. I want it to last until next October.
Next 5 years.
Right. And so if these guys manage to get their game out in 6 months or whatever, and it happens to be this random early summer release or whatever the hell it happens to be, I don't care. I don't care when this game comes out. I just really, really want to get this game as soon as they're done porting with it. Hopefully it'll be a nice smooth process and there won't be any problems. But I am ready, man. I am ready. Hook me up.
Well, that's step one. Now the step two is this game going to be any good? It looks good from what I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the port goes smoothly. Because the PC port, the PC version
test.
is good. That's all we're hearing is PC version is good now. It launched poorly.
Okay,
it's good now. Stay out of the chat.
Excellent.
Like we just had this conversation.
I had to welcome Edu El Gato Leonesco because he said
you could have
"Hi,
just done it
guys.
like that. It would have been perfect.
Oh, okay. So you'd rather me just say it out loud. What up, Decepticon? All right. So congratulations to them. And yeah, I hope they get it to us as soon as possible. Hopefully another 2022 game. We don't have really a whole lot that we know about going into 2022. So, but we didn't for this year either. We knew about Hitman, and I think that was it. And then we got like so many games. So, but more on that later because it is time to talk about The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, Brian, which just got a brand new update. And it now adds a quick start button so that even if you haven't beaten the game, you can now go in and play Aftershocks, the free update that occurred. So pretty awesome feature. But in addition to that, they also had in, I think this was maybe a week or two ago, for those who don't know, we had talked about the graphical, the graphics taking a small hit once this redesign came out. And now they've restored the resolution and anti-aliasing for the PS4 Pro / PS5. So, Brian, now the game is back, restored to its former glory visually, actually enhanced because there's no pop-in anymore, and you can access the free DLC. Let's go, Brian.
It's the best of all worlds. This is great. Because I mean, no pop in. I didn't mind the aliased look to it. It kind of, I always say that without anti-aliasing, you kind of have this like sharper edge to it. But man, when I jumped in today, just to be like, okay, let's now that I've got a proper perspective and I can do in my head a side-by-side comparison, I was very, very happy with what they did and just making sure that it was, smooth and not blurry just for the sake of getting rid of those hard edges. I think Saints and Sinners is a beautiful game, and I'm really, really happy that they got the resolution back up where it belonged. Very happy about this.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece of a game. Has amazing game loop and survival mechanics. And the DLC, Aftershocks, was really sweet and gives you a hint at future content they have planned. So yeah, if you thought to yourself, like I did, man, Saints and Sinners just needs some puzzles in it, then Aftershocks is perfect.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought that. Luckily.
Ooh, Moss Game and soundtrack. Nice. I love some Moss. Can't wait to talk about Book 2. I finally am present when we can talk about some Moss Book 2. Oh, God, I missed the last 2 Gamescast where that was headlining, and it killed me. All right, man. So moving on, Brian. Alvo.
Yeah.
They have been teasing this Zombies update, and it sounds like it could come out at any moment now. But we've been speculating on some of the pictures that we've gotten. Well, Steve over there at Martin Parole was basically just doing a drive-by in our Discord and dropped some photos of the new Zombies update. And there are more than zombies. There are a ton of enemies. And these pictures, Brian, look dope as hell.
Yeah.
What do you think of these? I think they look amazing.
Yeah, man, this is exactly what I want from Alvo to kind of infuse a little bit of new blood or the undead into this game. I already liked it, but I kind of had a hard time going back to it after a while. I played it a ton leading up to launch, and then after launch, I sort of just like fell off of it completely. So this looks great, man. Like this looks like, these character models are awesome. And
Yes.
I just can't wait to see how it all plays. We did talk to Steve a little bit and found out that there is certainly some it's not obviously as deep as the zombies mode in Call of Duty, man, but there's some deep gameplay mechanics there that's really going to mix things up, and really excited to finally get my hands on it and learn how it all works and work together as a team to survive.
I love that. I love that picture with the zombie with the one eye, and he kind of looks like if Ghostface got run over by a car. Oh, I'm excited about the new Scream movie too. But yeah, man, these enemies and all this, I love their design. They have such like a classic looking design to me. They remind me of a lot of House of the Dead kind of creatures and zombies, and of course you've got like the demon Rottweilers. Just all of this is just super cool looking, and I'm really excited for this. Plus, one of those pictures is actually a little bit older, but if you see at the top, it says locate and capture the objective, and that is just, again, more confirmation that this isn't just a wave shooter. This is going to be survival with some objectives as well, and I think that is one of the things. They just seem like they're nailing this to me. And as a reminder, guys, this is your last day to get Alvo on sale. So it is currently $25. That is an excellent price for it.
It's a good price.
And this is your final 24 hours to do so. So wanted to throw this in there and remind you guys, because if you're remotely interested, you don't want to miss out. You can play with the aim controller, you can play with the moves, you can play with DualShock 4. Player base is active. Zombies mode coming. Now is the time.
I 100% agree. This is going to be fun. It's going to be real fun. And again, a really good excuse to jump back in. And again, but if they don't make it this month, I just want to say this publicly. Take your time, get it right. As cool as it would be to have like a spooky game mode for Alvo during the month of October, whatever, man. Like take your time, get it right. We'll play it in November. We'll play it in December. It'll be fine. No hurry.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really hoping they come out in time. It comes out in time, but this is going to be a long-term thing. This isn't just a small little Halloween update. This is a permanent mode. So the better it can be at launch, definitely the better. And if it barely misses October, that'd be unfortunate, but it's still going to be awesome when it arrives.
I agree.
Arashi, Castles of Sin, so cool, man.
Dude, we had
good games you're dropping in the chat. I want to try to win some.
Big time, man. We have like the support from all the publishers and developers was absolutely crazy. So I just want to give another shout out to everybody who supplied us with keys to make sure that this day would be special for a lot of you out there, right?
Yes, Arashi just got that the sword fighting update. Man, I love that game. I cannot recommend it enough. And now that it's got the sword fighting enhanced, basically, yeah, like that is a polished game top to bottom now, and PS4 Pro enhanced, super cool, man.
Definitely. All right, man. It's time to move on to. I'm so glad that you're here for this topic because somehow I don't know how you keep missing it, but you're never here whenever we talk about Moss Book 2. So let's talk about some Moss Book 2.
Oh man, so Moss, in part of the 5-year celebration. I know, man. Tell me about it. I've been such a big fan of Moss since the beginning. It was my most anticipated game all the way back in 2017, and the game was absolutely incredible to me when I finally got my hands on it in 2018, early 2018.
Let's take a time out for a
February.
second. I want to hear because you've said before how special Moss is to you and that it means a lot to you. It's a personal thing. I'm not sure if you've ever elaborated on that before. I want to know what's going on. Like why did this game resonate with you so much?
Well, long story short, I've always been a sucker for mascots, and I've always thought mascots were super important for platforms. and all the way from Crash Bandicoot to Spyro the Dragon, to Sir Daniel Fortescue from Medieval, even Jersey Devil, even the deep cut mascots like Jersey Devil, for Christ's sake. I've just always thought they are essential for that brand identity, that PlayStation identity, and Quill is such a well thought out character and is not only adorable, but the world is amazing, and she's like she does like hack and slash gameplay. She speaks sign language, which I think is just so fascinating. I had friends that worked at Disney that even knew about Quill before Moss was even announced, because they were doing something with her, like showcasing her in some way. And this game just grabbed me by the heart, and like I love this game. This was also my first PlayStation VR Platinum. That kicked off my platinum runs. But yeah, this game, from an emotional to just entertainment level, this game just basically was perfect for me. I thought it was just another masterpiece. So always been super special. And I made videos back in the day about it being my most anticipated game before it came out, well before it came out.
Well, did you think that when they announced book 2, okay, well, let me ask you this, because you sort of have a reputation about this by now. So did you think there was a possibility that Polyarc was like, we've given up on Moss, we're going to do something different? Or did you think we're going to stick with this? This is our franchise and we're killing it.
Yeah.
Never lost hope?
Because never lost hope, not for 1 second. And this was also the team that made me say, okay, anytime former Bungie devs make, those are the creators that made Halo, Destiny, those series. And I said, anytime these guys touch anything in VR, we get something special. And that started with Moss. But no, they gave us an update about once a year. And I think it was late 2019 was the last update we had, where they said, we have, all hands on deck working on this. We're also starting to create a new project. So this isn't even the only thing Polyarc is working on. I've been following every last detail, that any ounce of information I could find on this, Brian, because I am just a mega fan. You remember for an entire year, I begged you to go and finish this game because Des did the review. And I was just like, please. And you were like, yeah, I loved it, but I never finished it because Des reviewed it and I was busy doing other things. And I was like begging you on my knees. I was like, please finish Moss. It's so good. The soundtrack, man. I used to listen to the soundtrack. Everything, dude. Everything. Amazing. I've got the poster right here. I bought the poster. I've got the mug. I bought this shit at launch. It just meant so much to me, man. Where was I?
I have no idea. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome to hear. Like you love mascots and they're important to you. And this game delivered on the mascot shit. And now we're getting Moss Book 2 at some undisclosed time. And we actually get some more information about Moss Book 2 today over on the PlayStation blog, right?
We did. This comes from Josh Stixma, the principal engineer and design director over at Polyarc. First of all, let me say something real quick. He starts off this article by saying, Shuhei Yoshida, head of PlayStation Indies, Sony Interactive Entertainment, introduced the world to PlayStation VR by stating that it was going to be, quote, the next innovation from PlayStation that will shape the future of games, end quote. And they say, and boy, was he right. And I could not agree more. But I'll read the first part of this. He says, for the past 5 years, PlayStation VR has provided the industry, specifically VR developers like us, with an incredible opportunity to create worlds and games that push entertainment and emotional connection beyond what today's more traditional game technologies provide. VR is the only platform that truly immerses players in other worlds, allowing them to be a part of a narrative experience. You are a part of the story. And they go on to say that how their team has essentially in certain areas doubled. And that one thing I thought was really interesting is when I think of VR, Brian, I think of how VR changes gameplay, because I've always been a huge gameplay guy and looking for new ways to discover new game loops, I love the creative and innovation and intuitive controls that are brand new and fresh. That's what keeps gaming important for me. But they said how important it was that there is an emotional connection, and finding ways to use VR to make an emotional connection in VR and have that enhanced storytelling. And I thought that was pretty interesting, because I never thought about VR being used in a way to have enhance emotions that way as much as gameplay does.
Yeah. I think that's it's almost inherent. Like it almost seems silly at this point because we've been playing VR games for so long. It makes sense. Like the characters seem more real that you're interacting with. The dialogue seems more real. It all seems more personal because you feel like that character in the game. Somebody's not talking to you through a television screen, and so it all seems more personal. And I don't think that's something I would have understood before spending a lot of time in VR. And so I think it's something that we take for granted now. And I recognize that every single time I play a flat screen game, because it's wildly different. There's not that personal connection. I don't feel immersed in that game world, and so I am 100% there with you, man. 100% there with you.
Well, so they go on to say some things here, and they've actually given us some new information about a couple little tidbits about some of the visual enhancements as well as some gameplay tweaks that they've done. Starting with, they say, we found an opportunity to create many more visual effects systems and shaders that can only be experienced at their fullest within VR. This ranges from snowflakes falling in the mountains to candle flames that move around as the player creates wind in their hands. We've also added... Okay, so yeah, they're just talking about like they're going to have more visual effects in the game, and they even said that at one point some of their developers actually got so immersed in testing these that they would actually feel cold because of just all the, being like tricking the brain, which is basically what you want VR to do.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that happen to you where you like felt something that you saw visually? I have.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, man. I guess that would have to be something I think about because so frequently I do my best to make sure that whatever's happening in game is sort of like happening in my environment. We talk about Farpoint and turning a fan on and making sure that that whole first area is super windy, and so and you're out in this big open area, so having a fan on you while you play is just super ultra immersive. But yeah, certainly I've certainly I know that in VR worlds. I think the London Heist, I picked up that cigar, put it in my mouth, lit it, and I swear to you.
Were you like?
I mean, I for a split second I thought I smelled cigar smoke. That was early on, so my brain was way more easy to trick at that point. So
yeah, the one thing that I always kind of harken back to is Until Dawn: Rush of Blood. There's a part where the clown guy is like chasing you, and there's gas that pops up,
yeah.
and it's like a green gas. For some reason, every time I went through that green gas, I would always feel like a cool sensation. It was very strange, but so I've witnessed this myself. But anyways, moving on to other new features in Moss Book 2. They say we've also added a new player ability that allows players to grow traversable foliage for Quill in the game. This includes a vine bridge that enables Quill to access different sections of the game. So I wonder if that's going to be like add a Metroidvania element, sort of like, oh, now you have this vine bridge ability and you can access new areas in the game. That'd be really cool.
it would be cool. I definitely think that would be great because obviously Moss Book 1 was very, very straightforward. It was a path from beginning to end. Here's the next screen, here's the next screen, here's the next screen, and very seldom would you ever go back and see something that you'd already seen. So giving you a reason to run back and forth and discover new areas based on powers is what Metroidvanias are all about. If that was a thing, Fucking awesome. Hey, real quick, I want to make sure that everybody in the chat's aware. These codes came from everywhere, all over the place. Different developers, different places, different sites. So if it sounds like if there's a European problem with the codes, then I apologize. These codes are legit, and I'm sorry if you're not getting them. I do think that a lot of them are just being snagged before you guys are having a chance to get them. I know the error message isn't reflecting that, but I think that's probably what's happening. Let us know if you redeem a code so that we know it's gone. Let us know.
So there's two more things about Moss Book 2. Woo, I'm so excited to get to talk about this, man. I'm so excited. So they say now players will find meticulously hand-painted artwork, audio, and visual effects that move and evolve as the story progresses. Some pages in the book that you use even have dynamic content that interacts with the player as they move around. So one thing that they said was that players, you know how in Moss you start in that church, and I'm sorry, I think it's a library, and there's like the Moss book, and you're like flipping the pages and it's telling the story. They were saying they noticed that a lot of people just kind of like didn't connect with that as much as they should have or wanted or intended to. So now they've gone and basically enhanced that with all the things I just listed to maybe add more interactive elements and capture your attention a little bit more for the story as it progresses.
Looper, the game cat with the €5 says, Brian, can you please double check the region of these EU codes? No one from Europe seems to be able to redeem them. Handled. We also got Joey Bats 233 with the $3 tip, says, for a silly fun game, I recommend Accounting Plus. We also recommend Accounting Plus. That game was awesome. And we got Wild Hour, the game cat, with the Australian $10, says, congratulations on 5 awesome years. Thanks heaps for the tips and recommendations. My VR experience is incredible. Thanks to you guys. To the top, Australia. Oh, guys, again, yeah. Again, if you type in anything for To the Top, the physical version that we're giving away, won't work in the chat. Make sure you leave it in the comments below, and that'll make sure that you enter your name, your PSN name, into the top, and then we'll pick 5 at random.
Oh yeah. So one last thing, Quill has had facial reconstruction surgery. Brian, she went under the knife. No, not my Quill. She got some Botox, you know. They say Quill will have an even wider range of emotional performances for you to experience. Basically, they talk about how she like autonomously kind of emotes certain things, and now they've actually gone even step further with her expressions, all the way down to her face. Now can probably have more animations, and also depending on the events, it sounds like whenever an event happens, it sounds like she will kind of reflect that with her mood or certain things that she communicates you either through sign language, body language, things like that. So these are all things. This is just the beginning. Some little teasers that we've gotten from Polyarch in today's blog.
What's your guess, man? When's this thing coming out?
Oh, man, I don't know. I'll tell you. I'll elaborate. I'll follow up with you on that later. They haven't given a release date, so I actually think we could see this. I'm going to say January or February 22.
Yeah, I would say possibly even later. I do feel like that Sony is sort of buttoned this up as a temporary exclusive, right? As a limited exclusive for at least a little while. We have no idea how long the exclusivity will last. So with all these games, with a lot of games being pushed out of 2021 and in 2022 we're very unsure of release dates of that so far. We've got a list of games that we think are coming out in 2022, but we have no release dates for any of them. I think we're going to start seeing games like Moss Book 2 start peppering in all of next year, and I think they'd actually want to kind of push this off a little bit to kind of give us something to look forward to, maybe like mid-year. So that's my guess. We'll see what happens. It could be out in 2 months. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Q1 22. That's when I think it's coming, because they didn't have a release date in their trailers, so I don't think it's gonna. I don't know. All right, Brian. Well, that brings us to another main topic, which is PlayStation Blog. Isabel Tomatis, sorry, the Senior Director, PSVR Esports Peripheral Marketing and Licensing, SIE, posted in the PlayStation blog, Brian, today marks the 5th anniversary of the day PlayStation VR was introduced to the world, and we want to take this moment to thank all of our fans and talented development community for embracing this platform and supporting PSVR through the years. It's amazing to see how virtual reality has really established itself in these past 5 years as a platform for gaming, and we're pleased to have PSVR play a big role in VR's growth. I totally agree, Brian. I had slightly heard about VR on the PC side, but I took a chance and I said, they've got this Rush of Blood game that looks amazing, and I've always loved peripherals, and I've still got my shooter. I already had Move controllers, and I was like, what the hell? Let me give this a shot, and boom, and here I am now.
And boom, yeah. I mean,
it took over. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've told my story 1,000 times about how I almost canceled my pre-order because it was just I didn't have really the money at that time, and luckily I couldn't. I missed my chance to cancel my pre-order, and it all worked out for the best. But man, it's like at launch, it really felt like the sky was the limit. It felt like for any of us who got in at launch, we're just like blown away by it. We really thought that the sky was the limit. We thought that everything was coming to VR because they had Drive Club VR, they had Eve Valkyrie, like these big games, right? They felt big and they felt futuristic. You were inside of it and everything was moving really fast. And like some of them cared about motion sickness, some of them didn't. And it was this good feeling to say, hey man, like everybody seems like they're really in support of this. And there's a ton of indie games that came along for the ride. Games that we never would have played otherwise. Headmaster, this is like Super Hypercube, man. It's like games that were outside of outside of anything I would have cared about. And I think that was the great thing. That was the first thing I realized that PSVR was going to do for me, was that it was going to allow me to experience games in genres that I would never have played otherwise, because suddenly I care about experiencing them, because this is delivering me a new way to experience them, and it's the way that I've always wanted.
Yeah, not only genres, but like IPs, like Hitman, I never had any interest in until VR. So many, in fact, that just so many survival games, even horror games. I play way more horror games since VR, which I've always liked them, but I didn't love them until now. But anyways, they go on to elaborate, and she says, and to celebrate this PSVR milestone, we wanted to give a special thank you to PlayStation fans. Starting in November, PlayStation Plus members will get 3 free PSVR bonus games for no extra charge. Stay tuned for more details in the PlayStation Plus update in the next few weeks. 3 bonus VR games and PlayStation Plus in November, Brian. How cool is that?
Sorry about the sirens on my end, guys. It feels, and I don't want to like throw any shade here, but it does feel like this was a half measure by Sony to be like, no, we didn't forget at all about the anniversary coming up.
Herman Hulse saw my tweet.
I mean, it seems like it would have been more appropriate to be like, hey, we're in honor of the upcoming anniversary, we're going to make sure you have 3 extra PSVR games during the month of October with Plus. Instead they were like, oh, what can we do? Next month we'll give you something. It felt like this like belated birthday present or something, that a little half-hearted. Don't get me wrong, free shit's great. Free shit's awesome, and we'll see which games they are. That's the big question mark. But man, it did feel like they sort of forgot. They were like, we want to do something special for you guys, but we didn't think about it till last night.
Yeah, I've been. We're going to have this conversation eventually more in depth about what we feel like Sony got right and wrong. And I always felt like the marketing, the messaging around VR could have been much better. I talked about how they put stuff on the big stage that absolutely tanked, and they put stuff they released stuff in blogs, and it just wasn't enough. Like, it means a lot to us, but it's not. But nobody else is seeing it, and that's a problem. But that being said, we're here to celebrate. So,
well, dude,
when you
it's again, we've certainly made fun of Sony a little bit here and there, being like, oh, their marketing's rough, or like they're not putting enough into especially when compared to something like the Quest advertising campaign, which seems to be
right.
endlessly supplied financially, right? It seems to have like an endless, never-ending black hole of financial support, being like commercials everywhere all the time. And so
like NBA courts and stuff. Yeah.
Right. So the thing is but Sony's kind of taken another route, and over the course of the last 5 years, I feel like they've thrown their money at developers, saying, "Hey, bring your game over here. Bring your game. Make it an exclusive. You weren't planning on making a PSVR version. Here's some money. Make a PlayStation VR version." So, unlike how some people look at their support of the Vita, this was completely the opposite. So for so long, people were like, "Oh, PSVR is going to be the next Vita." For so long, we heard that, and it's been completely the opposite. Even when sales were down and Quest started taking over, Sony was there making sure that we had games all the time to play.
Yeah,
I mean, and we're talking a lot of exclusives too, man. Like a lot of exclusives: Resident Evil 7, Astrobot, Blood and Truth, Wipeout: A Mega Collection, Arashi, Dreams, Hitman 3, Firewall, Iron Man, Farpoint. I'm reading, but I'm trying to be excited. Static,
so good. Rush of Blood.
Rush of Blood, The Inpatient, which was less good. Fracked, dude. In games you don't even think about being exclusive, like Derasane, right, or Riggs, or Golem, right? Wins and Leaves.
Right.
Here They Lie, launch title. I just played yesterday. Still holds up, man. These beautiful, beautiful games. Games that no one even talks about. Stardust Odyssey, Separation. These are some amazing, amazing exclusives. And Sony has been taking care of their gamers for the last 5 years straight. It's been amazing. Don't forget everybody's Golf VR.
Yeah, I mean, you can keep going.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though, is that they the library, I think, for PSVR is unmatched. You could say whatever you want about the hardware. I think it does way more than it actually was ever supposed to. I think it does for what it is. I think the hardware performs admirably. But the games, man, it's all about the games. I don't think there's a better platform when it comes to VR games, and the amount of quality, quality titles and exclusives that you get here. And I think that's the biggest advantage. And for us who are like huge gamers, that's a big deal. That's super important. So yes, the hardware is a little bit behind compared to the competition right now, but I don't see other platforms getting Arashi, Fracked, Hitman, it's those are big deals. Super cool stuff.
I do think we will see other platforms get games like Arashi, right?
Will.
But but for now, it's like this is the only place to play it. And you cannot fault Sony for putting their money where their mouth is, making sure that we have games to play, because maybe maybe they've made some rough mistakes over the last 5 years, but here we are 5 years later, and guess what? It's still the most powerful PSVR headset outside of. I mean, it's the most powerful. The PSVR is the most powerful PSVR headset. Hold on a second, I'm about to wake up. PSVR is still the most powerful headset outside of the PC VR realm. Here's Oculus trying to get into the game, and they are and just severely underpowered headsets over and over and over. Quest 2 is like running on a PlayStation 3. We've talked to tons of developers, right? So even if you're on the OG PS4, guess what? You're still running an entire generation ahead of what the newest competition has brought us. So it's so here we are 5 years later, and still absolutely killing it in terms of being like I don't think we're not really going to see real next gen VR until we see PSVR 2. I've said it. There you go. You can try to prove me wrong. You'll probably be very successful at that, but I'm saying it anyway.
So on top of this, they released the most played PlayStation VR games globally, as well as by region. Do you want to know, Brian, what the top 5 most played PSVR games are globally?
It's not going to be accurate. They're not taking into consideration hybrid games. I don't know how I feel about this.
You're gonna want to know.
Okay.
Number 1, we've got Rec Room.
That's not a surprise.
That's not a surprise. It's a free game. It's one of the few always active online games. Number 2 is Beat Saber.
That's also not a surprise.
Not a surprise.
Wow.
Now, this one kind of is a surprise to me. Number 3 is PlayStation VR Worlds,
Wow.
That is for most played. I wonder. You know what? Now I don't know. Are they talking about hourly, or are they talking about like? Now I'm wondering. Are they talking about hours, or are they talking about the downloads? Or
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I mean, because Worlds, I feel like you only get so much out of it. You know, there's certainly that Arkanoid breakout puzzle style game, but other than that, there's not a whole lot of replayability in some of those. I
Right.
don't know. I guess they'll
Well, that's what
lose
just
a
made
little
me.
bit, right?
Well, even Danger Ball, like if you go to the leaderboards, there's a lot of people on the leaderboards, and there are some high scores in there. So, I think quantity, the amount of people that played it, probably makes up for the longevity of how often people played it. I think it's a little play with numbers game here. At number 4, it is the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim VR. Now I can see that because
Right.
I've got a bunch of hours in that myself. I know Gamecats that fell asleep in that game and like woke up. That is still a dream I never achieved, which is like falling asleep in VR and waking up in Skyrim.
Right.
Man, you know how bad I wanted that to happen and never did? Oh.
I mean, you could
Finally.
still make it happen. Just, get real tired and put the headset on. I don't know how comfortable that would
It's
be.
got to be organic though.
You want to accidentally
wanna-
fall asleep in the headset?
Yes. Yeah, I want to like accidentally wake up and be like, "Whoa, like I'm out in the woods." There's anyways, the final top played game on global scale, Brian, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
That's all me.
That make you happy?
That's all me. I'm really glad they're counting hybrid games. Yeah, Rec Room, Resident Evil. This is great. This is really great. Yeah, it makes me
Now-
really happy, man. It makes me really happy to know that the people who played it a lot, right? Maybe we see that 1 million of the 5 million PSVR owners or 6 million PSVR owners, only a certain amount played it. But I think the people who played it absolutely fucking loved it and couldn't stop playing it. Lots of replayability.
Chirpy J Extra says I fell asleep in Astrobot. Now that would be a pleasant place to wake up in. Man, what a joy that game is. So there's a couple other games here when you go by region. North America also had Job Simulator, and of course, to no surprise, Firewall 0 Hour, which is super awesome.
No
I mean,
surprise.
dude, yeah, Firewall 0 Hour, like I said, is so unique because not only was it forever, besides Rec Room, like the first multiplayer game that actually sustained a player base. People still play that game, and it is still going strong. Also, I saw FC in the chat. What up, guys?
Thank you guys so much for being here and dropping keys, participating in the
very kind.
5-year birthday with the rest of us. Really appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you.
That game is a headset seller. That game, like I people that buy a PSVR and only play Firewall. We need more games like that of that caliber.
Right.
And that's hard to do. Most games get by or get an extra boost because they're attached to some already popular IP, and then even if the game is mediocre, then it still sells a bunch because people go, oh, I know this brand or this game. This game did it by itself, and isn't necessarily super surprising because it had a bunch of AAA devs from Activision, from that worked on like Call of Duty games, and of course it's a great game. So awesome to see that. Now we move to Japan, Brian.
We shall move
We're
to Japan. In just one
Let's
second,
move on.
AJ, because we got so many tips to get caught up on. First comes from Looper, the Gamecat, with the €5. Says, wait, is this starting in November, like every month? He's talking about the 3 game giveaway. I think we need to clarify that. It sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like in November they're going to give us 3 PlayStation VR games as part of Plus, and that's the beginning and end of it. But,
Right.
I mean, are you getting any other impression from that?
No, I think that is what that implies, and yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say though, what if like it was, how with PS5, how they gave out some new games, Oddworld Soulstorm, Bug Snacks, and that I can never remember the name of that game, Destruction All Stars. What if, Brian, if they dropped Moss Book 2 on us as a free PSVR game?
I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. That would be
You think that's possible?
Yeah, I mean, anything's possible considering that they do have a history of dropping new games, like big, potentially popular new games, and just being like, here you go, free. Like, all right, like that. So it's possible. I just don't. Whew.
I feel like because they haven't been pushing the hardware, that developers have been suffering a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would be a great strategy to just say, here's Moss Book 2 for free for PlayStation Plus users. You know, thank you for continuing to support the headset. I feel like that would be an amazing strategy. Get more people to play Moss Book 2 at launch would be really, really cool. But, you know,
Now,
we'll have to wait and see.
we'll wait and see, but just a differing perspective in case we are misreading this. Maybe it is very, very possible that they're saying, hey, starting in November, for a full year until next October, you know, when PSVR 2 launches, we're going to be giving away a lot of PSVR 1 games. Instead of getting none every month or possibly one every month, it's because we had mentioned, you know, getting more people into PlayStation VR 1. We were talking about the different ways they could take advantage of the PlayStation VR 1 library leading up to PlayStation VR 2. This is one of those ways. They could just make it impossible for people not to buy a PSVR 1 headset. Or potentially, you know, if there's any kind of backward compatibility, make it impossible for them not to buy a PSVR 2 headset. You know, they keep adding these games to their library, and then next thing you know, they have 3 every month for the next 12 months. It's 36 games. Did I do my math right? I did. You have 36 games to play on a headset that you don't have. It's like, how could you not go out and buy a PlayStation VR 1 headset if you had 36 games to play for it for free? So, I mean, this could be an interesting strategy if...
You know what?
Yeah.
They do say starting in November. Starting in November, PlayStation Plus members will get 3 PSVR bonus games for no extra charge.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more.
It kind of sounds like they're doing it every month.
3 games a month. I mean, I think that would be a brilliant strategy, especially if they throw in some new games. I think that would be a really, really good strategy because, quite frankly, you're not competing in selling headsets. You're getting a lot of dedicated, you know, new users, new active users,
Right.
but not at a fast selling pace like you were when PSVR. So I don't know. The wording of that could go either way. That's 50-50.
Right.
That's pretty cool though.
If Sony's looking at PSVR sales and saying, we've got this entire collection of games and so many of them are good and there's a lot of new PSVR owners out there and we've got a whole collection of games that just aren't selling. They're just sitting there stagnant. No one's paying attention to them. It's like they don't have to give the developers all that much money to be part of the PlayStation Plus program, right? It's like, well, you weren't making any money on this before. Here's some money, right? And so
Right.
I think this is potentially an amazing strategy to get more people into VR.
Anakazi says, pro tip, assume the least generous reading of it until proven otherwise.
I like
that. That is a good way to set the expectations correct. Or we could, or if it's just only for November, we could be like, you said starting in November, not only November. We could make a big fuss about that. See if we can get us some free games moving forward.
Yeah, that's what we need.
So the last one was Japan, which had Gran Turismo Sport as part of its thing. That is a huge surprise. I mean, I know it's a really popular game, but the VR mode with its limitations, I was very surprised to see that was it. But anyways, they said there's plenty more PSVR games to look forward to with games in development such as Moss Book 2, Wanderer, After the Fall, Humanity, Brian. They have finally... That's the first we've heard about Humanity in a year, in over a year. We haven't heard about it since I think early mid 2020, and they basically said they had to push everything back because of the pandemic. So nice to hear, even though it's not some kind of huge thing. Again, this would make a great PS Plus game, Sony. Just saying.
It would. See more spooky, scary game streams with the $2 tip says, can't wait to get Good Dog, Bad Dog for free.
No, don't do that. Oh my God, I'd be so mad.
Right, we could convince everybody not to play PSVR games. That's all that would do.
Oh my God. Yeah, you don't want to do that. Puzzling Places and Zenith the Last City. I'm surprised Puzzling Places got a mention there.
I mean, dude, they previewed that game a year before it's supposed to come out. Didn't they say?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I think they said
somebody there.
They said Q4 2021, And they showed it off in like February or something of this year. They're like, this game that you probably don't care about. Look, we're gonna preview whatever. It's a jigsaw puzzle game in VR. It looks like it could be fun, but you don't need to preview that shit 9 months ahead of time. Dude, real quick, Scott Jesco, PSN, Harry Fellow, PSVR, GameCat for life, with the 5.5 quid. It says, happy birthday, PSVR, happy birthday, PSVR, happy birthday, PSVR, happy birthday. I'm not singing this.
It's happy birthday.
No,
PSVR,
hey, copyright. Hey. That is literally a problem. I can't even do that in the restaurant or I get fucking sued.
Wow.
Now sing it one more time and you can stop washing your hands. Hashtag hire AJ. I don't even know what that means, but I love it. Salvador with the $10 tips is celebrating today was the right way by playing PSVR while listening to you guys and the cats. Hashtag hire AJ. Hashtag hit that like button. Yeah, don't forget to hit that like button, guys. We also got Looper the Game Cat with the €2 says, imagine. This is talking about you falling asleep in VR. It says, imagine waking up in Jack's house.
No. No, please, God, no.
That would be amazing.
Oh, that would be terrifying. It'd be like waking up from a dream into a nightmare, you know?
We also got Distracted Game Cat of New Zealand, $3.50 says, you're not getting that masterpiece, Good Dog, Bad Dog, for free. You want that shit? You got to pay for it. I like it. Guys, thank you so much for all the donations, man. Appreciate it. We're trying to give back to you guys, and you just keep giving back to us. Love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, that is great news. But there is one final thing, Brian, before we get to our last segment of the show. And this comes via Hibbsy, our local news scooper, a.k.a. Hal 9000. That's a 2001 Space Odyssey reference, isn't it? Wasn't that the name of the robot?
Yeah.
In 2001? It's been a while since I've seen the movie. On the Japanese blog, they actually had some comments regarding NGVR, PlayStation VR 2, and they say, for the future, SIE will continue to pursue the possibilities of VR, one of which is the development of next-generation VR systems for PS5, a new VR controller with the goal of realizing a more refined sense of presence, feeling as if you really exist in the world of content such as games, while making use of the knowledge cultivated with PSVR. We are developing technology. Please pay attention to SIE's future efforts for VR. Please pay attention, Brian. You paying attention?
Nope, not paying attention at all. I've lost all my attention. For a year that was supposed to be, nonstop PSVR 2 news. It's been real quiet since we first saw those controllers. But
it's interesting that they had this in the Japanese blog, but not the North America blog, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit more proof that Sony is not this unified brand that everybody thinks it is. It really, all these different branches operate so frequently, so independently. And so you would think that they'd have one blog post that would be copied and pasted and translated professionally by each region. And instead, it's this kind of all over the place thing, right?
Sort of. I wouldn't say kind of all over the place. I don't think it's that bad. But they are a huge company. And, even PlayStation Studios consist of several places around the globe. So it's not super surprising. It's not necessarily they're a train wreck or anything. It's hard to get every last detail unified. They definitely don't have Sony Japan, Sony North America communicating on a daily basis. Let's put it that way. And that's not that big a deal. It's not that uncommon, I would say.
Yeah.
But was still nice to say. It sounds like what they're saying here, though, is they say we are developing technology. So, that's one of the things I said that is potentially one of the benefits is that PSVR 2, NGVR, whatever we want to call it, is still being developed. And while we've been begging to see more, and really, really hope to soon, at the same time, the longer it takes, the more they're going to have time to develop the technology, the more they're going to have the time to look at what other companies are doing and not release something with the same mistake that they did before, which is maybe like, I wouldn't say light tracking was a mistake, but it was like already outdated at launch. Let's put it that way. And that was problematic. So maybe not a mistake, but problematic. And this gives them the advantage of not having to deal with that same thing going right out the gate. And I think personally, Brian, I mean, I think you probably feel the same. Is like I think PSVR 2 is going to be something very, very special. I think it's going to be. It honestly makes me giddy. It makes me think about when PS2 was coming out and how it was like in a big jump from PS1. I feel like it's the same way. Like it could almost be like a golden era, golden age of VR gaming once again. And man, I can't wait to experience it with you and with the Gamecats, all of us, with the developers, with everybody. I think it's going to be such a great time, such a special time in our lives.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. When PSVR, when PlayStation 1 launched, and they were really, really pushing 3D graphics and polygonal environments and characters, it was rough, man. Everything looked kind of rough. We were excited by it, obviously, but it was the first time it had been done successfully. And when PlayStation 2 launched, it really just it just took all of those rough edges. It took any naysayers that's like, oh yeah, 2D is always going to be the way forward because 3D is just it doesn't look good, and it kind of silenced all that, and it kind of showed everybody like, look how good 3D can be. And I think we're in the exact same boat with PSVR 2. For anyone who didn't like PSVR 1 or just thought VR is not there yet, the controllers aren't there, the graphics aren't there, it's just too bulky. I mean, you name it, man. Like breakout box, all of the little things that sort of added up to make it a less than stellar experience for people who are more sensitive to these things. All that's gone. All that's gone. I think people are going to be surprised by the form factor. It's going to be super lightweight and super ergonomic on your head. I don't think it's not going to weigh you down. I mean, I know PSVR 1 was great for that and kind of alleviated any weight distribution problems, and it felt fine wearing. But I think this PSVR 2 is going to take that a dramatic step forward. Controller's dramatic step forward, and it's just doing stuff with flat screen games. And bringing it into VR in ways that we've never seen before. And I think the level of parity we're going to see between PlayStation 5 games, PlayStation 5 flat screen games, and PSVR 2 games, it's not going to be the dramatic difference that we saw with PS4 and PSVR 1. I think it's going to be pretty on par.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah. Wild Hour, the Gamecat with the Australian $5 tip, says Durasne is on special, 50% off, PS Store. Thank you very much. Game on. Durasne.
There is a sale going on right now, and I enjoyed the story of Durasne. But again, I gotta recommend Alvo. Well, it's still one day left, and Halloween update coming. That's gonna get my number one nod of approval, I think, right now. But
yeah.
See, well, Brian.
Hey, just before we move on, man, I want to address one more question, and that's Daniel Kaz in the chat. It says, VR is evolving so quickly. Does it make sense to have a HMD with a 7-year life cycle? I think this is what's special about Sony, man. It's like when Oculus is saying, hey, we're going to go the cell phone model and say, here's this year's model, and then next year we're going to bring you a slightly upgraded next year's model, and then the year after we're going to bring you a slightly upgraded next year's model. Sony doesn't do that, man. Here we are, 5 years after PSVR 1 launched, and we're still the most technically advanced headset. It's because it's being powered by the PlayStation 5, and then on top of that, if we ever do get a PlayStation 5 Pro, you're not going to have to buy a new headset, right? If you feel like upgrading, then you're good to go, and you can take advantage of the Pro. But it's all in the hardware, and I think that the PlayStation 5 is really special, and I think by the end of the PlayStation 5 life cycle, things are still going to look really, really good, and no one's going to be like, "Oh man, we really need a PlayStation 6 as soon as possible." I don't think anybody's going to be saying that. I think PS5's got a lot of life left in it, and so I'm more than willing to pay a few extra bucks for the next gen VR headset from PlayStation, because I know I'm not going to have to buy the PSVR 2.5 the year after that, and the PSVR 3 the year after that. It's going to be fine. It's not future proof, but certainly generation proof. Right? It'll last us till the end of the generation. So, all right, I had to get that off my shoulders, man. Oh man, are we bringing this birthday celebration to an end with the last segment of our show?
20 questions, which you stole from GameScoop.
Hell yeah, I did.
Because Damon Hatfield gave Farpoint a 6 out of 10, and so every
That's
time
not why I did that,
he makes a mistake like that, we're going to steal another thing, Damon.
That's ridiculous, but I like it. It's a good excuse, man. We stole a segment from GameScoop, and if we've got an excuse for it, then that's fine. All right, man. I got 20 questions along with everybody in the chat. We got 20 yes or no questions to figure out the PlayStation VR game that you're thinking of, AJ. Do you have a game in mind?
I do have a game in mind, Brian, and I am ready to count the number of questions you asked, and I am ready to answer any questions as accurately as possible.
This is not going to end well, I feel. Yeah, Patrick M in the chat was like, oh, we should do 100 questions. I was actually thinking about it. Because GameScoop has done 100 questions before, but we'll do that another time. Alberto Mopam, the Game Gato with the Mexican 50 pesos, says, giving and receiving, I finally got a code. Excellent. Thanks for Arashi, and here's hoping for 5 more amazing VR-filled years. Saludos.
Hell yeah.
Hashtag high AJ.
My palm, the Game Gato.
I love it.
I got cojones. Congrats, man. Go enjoy Arashi. It's so good.
All right.
Oh, you are history. Oh, you are his history. Said, who the fuck said Alvo?
Oh my god. All right, let's try.
We're back.
Try this again. Let me put the timer up. It's so ridiculous. All right, here. Let's try this again. Oh, right. Oh, motherfucker. That's not it either. One more time.
He's gonna need your help, cats.
There we go. Ready. I'm gonna definitely need your help. Timer's going. Does it have multiplayer?
It does have multiplayer.
All right, fantastic question. I love it. Does it have move support?
It does have move support.
Multiplayer game with moves. Does it require the moves?
It does require the moves.
Okay, so it's moves only. Okay, multiplayer game, moves only, guys. Can you drive a vehicle?
Can you drive?
Can you pilot a vehicle? Can you move a vehicle?
Yes, there are vehicles in it that you can drive-ish.
I'm gonna put drive in quotes. Okay, interesting.
No, not. I mean, well, there are vehicles that you can control. Yes.
Okay. Oof, Justin Cassidy. Let's see, is it co-op?
It is not co-op.
All right, so we're going to assume the multiplayer is PvP then. Can't be Warzone now, Ryan, because that didn't have the multiplayer support. Nope. Is it first person?
Technically, yes.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, it's first person.
All right, let me add a second question to that. When you pilot the vehicles or when you move the vehicles, is that in first person?
You do not control the vehicles in first person.
Okay.
I mean, no, wait. Well, I mean, you do, but...
No, are you inside... you know what I'm trying to say? Are you inside the vehicles? Right.
You are not inside the vehicles, no.
Okay. Is this a strategy game?
This is a strategy game.
Nice. I think we're on the right path here. We're on the right path. Is this...
Wait, no, hold on. Arashi, Castles of Sin in the chat with a code. Distraction.
No, I forgot what game we were talking about.
Did I throw you off?
Yeah. All right. No reason to beat around the bush. Is it Final Assault?
It is Final Assault. Well done. Nice. Damn, I really cornered myself. That was good questions, man. And also, awesome freaking game.
I mean, I think honestly, it was because of the vehicles and how we control them and not control them, and of course everybody in the chat was helping me out too.
Yeah,
probably
what would
taking
you
me.
say for that? Like when you say you drive vehicles, if you drive vehicles,
You control vehicles. I mean, you know,
I
you
guess
get into
I might have
semantics.
given away too much there, but yeah.
Yeah, you get into semantics when you
That's all
start saying, you know, do you pilot, do you control, do you drive, whatever. So,
Yeah.
but great game, absolutely great game. Can't believe this game is so cheap. It's only like $10. I think the retail price of this is only $10 now.
Yes.
Which is absolutely ridiculous.
I think All You Are is History of the Game Cat got that first, by the way. Good job, dude. The shrimp cat. The ghost cat.
Nice. Hey, Shuhei Yoshida
Shuhei
just liked our tweet about celebrating the 5-year anniversary. So Shuhei, if you happen to be here, man, just want to say thank you so much for all your contributions to Sony, and let's get that PSVR 2 out sooner rather than later. We got PSVR Zest in the chat with the $5. It says, bet you thought I'd forgotten our anniversary. Oh, it's so sweet. Never. Happy 5th to all the Gamecats, and here's to the next 5 years.
Saludos. Here's to the next 5 years. PSVR Zest, our favorite lime in the community.
Our favorite.
And yes, Shu, if you are listening, you mean so much to us, and thank you for pushing VR. And you are a legend, and you are a champion for us. And you know, we aspire
something right
to spread the good word and help you. We love you.
Clean it up. It's all brown right here. It's like just gotta. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us and celebrating the 5-year anniversary with us. You know, we love PlayStation VR more than life itself. Well, maybe second to life itself. Sometimes more than life itself. And we love this community more than anything. PSVR has brought us all together, and I'm never going to forget that. You know, so even after I'm long gone, in like 3 to 4 months from now.
Yeah, Brian. Happy 5 years, and Gamecats, thank you for being so supportive. I really wouldn't be here without you guys. I love you guys to death, and yeah, man. I'm so happy where we're at right now, and I hope we just keep getting some great games, which it looks like is going to be the case, and then get PSVR 2 right after. So really excited for this journey. This is only the beginning. And like the Lime said, here's to the next 5 years.
Like the Lime said, now we're listening to Talking Limes. You know, we fucking lost it, man. We're off the deep end. But thank you to Miles Dyer. Thank you to Jamie Out. Thank you to all of the moderators. And, of course, Sci-Fi Gamecat Henry for all the timestamps. Guys, join us over on Discord where this conversation happens 24/7. I'll probably be in voice chat for a little bit after this. Guys, thank you to everybody who hung out and watched the show. Hopefully with some of those keys that weren't working will eventually work. So give them a shot later on. Maybe they'll be active later. And just thank you everybody who was here. Thank you to everybody who donated. And of course, thank you to everybody who sat back and watched the show and didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there and we love you just as much. Let's cue the cat.
You're the cat, Brian, and we will see you guys Friday. 2 Endeavor 1 Arashi Hype, Mark Smith, you rock, dude. Stevie Dan Solo, the Game Cat, great show. Thank you so much, man. The Game Cat in the chat, good to see you, homie. The Funk Bomb Bro, the Game Cat. I confused the Funk Bomb Bro and the Funkadelic Game Cat so much. It is so hard. There's 2 funky fresh cats in there. Kara NG, good to see you. Johnny So Poltergeist, aka the Boo Flat Ghost Cat. Have a great rest of the week, my friend. Russ Christofari. Cat, big cat face smile, and a black cat. HCW, Backyard Wrestling Archive. Don't be sad, be happy. Backyard Wrestling, let's go.
Song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note.
LC 2552 beats the musical Game Cat. That was a terrible song. Boo Jew, the Underground Game Cat, Elite Game Squad in house, Guy Son, Fist Bump here, Andrew Bailey, happy anniversary and stuff to you as well, my friend. Johnny Wright, Pop the Stray Cat, stay syrupy and mapley. And stay breathtaking, first and foremost. Hasib Mirza, thank you so much. Gabriel Double for the licensed mail Game Cat, meow 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 meow. Mick Coles, TTFN to you as well. What is TTFN?
Ta-ta for now.
Oh, okay, ta-ta for now. Okay, Ben Dawson, Tom. Every time I hear his name, I just want to bang out some drums. Bargle Soft, have a great night. See you Friday. Stupid donkey. Alberto, Mapom, the game gato. Q. Neon Groove. All You Are is History of the Ghost Cat. Thank you for helping out. PW, noise to you. Twitch of the Single Player Game Cat. Thank you so much. Oh, he's going Fury Hunting. He's playing some Song in the Smoke, guys. Oh, so good. Craven Moorhead, LOL, he says.
LOL.
And Kramer 3K, the non-VR game cat. See you Friday as well in the 6th year of PSVR. That's a long time.
It does seem longer than 5 years. Significantly.
Song in the Flame Cat. Ben Dawson, Stephen Keeling. Thank you so much, guys. Happy 5 years.
Don't
David,
forget, guys.
David.
Win to the top. 5 copies, physical copies of limited run games to the top, man. Like in the comments below, leave your PSN name and the words to the top, and we'll pick 5 winners at random. And
David, you got to change your name to David the Speed Running Game Cat, because that's like what you do. That's like your MO, man. You got to do it. Guys, have a wonderful night. Happy 5 years, and happy 5 years, Brian. Thank you for letting me come and ruin your show every 3 days a week. And
you're welcome.
It's an honor, man.
You're welcome. Thank you for ruining the show day in, day out. Love you, cats. Love you, AJ.